Hi everybody, welcome to Urban Ink Spot. I am really excited you decided to click on my video today. We're going to do a progress report for my currently inked pens for December 2024, and I'm going to show you both a numerical and an alphabetical rating. You'll notice also that I've added a new pen, and then I'm going to show the 5 different dimensions that I measured each of these pens on, and also show it in the form of a radar chart. I had 4 pens that came in with an A rating or higher this month. I had 2 pens that came in with a B rating this month. And I'm sad to say it, this is kind of embarrassing, but I would say probably one of my nicer pens actually came in with a C rating this month. Okay, so let's start out with the characteristics that I am measuring for each pen and ink pairing. The first one will be aesthetics, which is how well do I think the ink matches what I want to see coming out of the pen. The second is the writing experience. Do I like the feel of the pen and ink pairing together? The third one is versatility and reliability. Does it fit easily into how I use my pens? The fourth one is shareability. Would I recommend this pen and ink combo? And then the fifth one is personal enjoyment characteristic. What is my overall enjoyment with this pen and ink pairing? Do I find myself reaching for this pairing this month? We'll start with the Sailor Pro Gear Slim Iris Nebula in a broad nib, and this is inked with Pelikan Golden Lapis, Pelikan Edelstein Golden Lapis. I give this a 10 for aesthetics because I think the pen and ink matchup is fantastic. It's beautiful having this pen and ink pairing in the lineup, and I think that the body color matches the ink color so well. Now, I gave it a 6 for the writing experience because I've had a little bit of clogging due to the shimmer particles, so I've just had to be mindful to use the pen a little bit more. And because those shimmerings take a little bit more effort, I feel that it makes it a little bit less versatile in how I would typically use my pens. And so in terms of versatility and reliability, I gave it a 7. But I gave it a 6 for shareability because I would definitely share this combo with others who were interested in this writing experience, people who match their pens to their inks. I think that that's great. Would I tell myself to use this again? Probably I would, but I'll be honest, I did have to convince myself to put this ink into this pen because I was a little bit nervous about the clogging and the price that I paid for this pen. Overall, I gave this a 7 out of 10 for pretty good marks for enjoyment. The composite score is a 7.2 and I gave it an A rating. The next pen we want to look at is the Esterbrook Estie. And overall, this one came in at an A+, and I have given it an 8.6 rating. This pen and ink pairing has been so much fun, and I have given it top marks. I've given this a 10 on the aesthetics because I love seeing this ink color come out of this pen. And, with all the different colors in the body of this pen, the experience, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun putting a lot of different colors into this pen. I gave this an 8 for the writing experience. The ink flows really nicely in this pen, and I think that this nib is kind of demanding on the flow of ink. I do see a little bit of railroading periodically on the downstroke, where the ink might just not flow enough to keep up with the demands of the pen, but it's not been an issue for me. So I gave this an 8 for the overall writing experience. On versatility and reliability, I gave this a 7. The combo lays down a ton of ink, so I can't use this if I know I'm going to be flipping through a lot of pages in my notebook for quick planning. So I was using this a lot for planning in my work notebook. I would give it an 8 for shareability, and then personal enjoyment, highest marks. I've enjoyed the heck out of this pairing. Next, we're going to talk about the TWSBI VAC 700R Mini. And this is inked with Birmingham Pen Company Interstellar Bronze. I ended up giving it an A+ and an 8.6 rating. This pen and ink pairing really surprised me. I received this ink sample recently and I loved it when I swatched it, so I ended up putting it in a pen, and I've since purchased the ink. I gave it a 7 for aesthetics, only because I don't really like the way that this body looks. Coming out of the pen, it looks neat. I mean, what did I expect? Of course, it's going to look strange, but just overall, the way this looks when I'm using it, I gave it a 7. I gave the writing experience a 9 because the sheen on this ink paired with this cursive italic nib makes for a really enjoyable writing experience. And I also gave it a pretty good mark. I gave it an 8 on versatility and reliability because I can seal off this ink chamber if I need to take this on the go, and I will take this pen and ink combo with me periodically when I'm out and about, so it makes it really easy for me to just use it in other aspects of my life. In terms of shareability, I gave this a 9. I would absolutely be quick to recommend this pairing. In fact, I've already recommended it to about 6 different people. And then I gave this a 10 in terms of personal enjoyment because I really like the outcome. It's really fun. It's really fun as I write with it. This is my Shown Design Pocket 6 in faceted brass, and I have this inked with Sailor Manyo Shirakashi. And this one I gave an 8 on the aesthetics. The ink properties reminds me of the patina of brass, and I've really enjoyed the aesthetics of writing with this pen and ink pairing. Now, because of the smaller size of the pen, I also need to post it. So I gave the writing experience a 6 because it's not great for super quick notes. Like if I want to use this and write with it, you'll notice that the pen body doesn't fit all the way to the end of my hands. So for that, I gave it a 6 for the writing experience. I've given it a 6 for the versatility and reliability because I do like that it's versatile and can go with me. It feels like it's built like a tank, but admittedly its use case is a little more narrow and might be specific to how I personally want to use my pens. For shareability, yeah, I do really like this pen and ink combo, but it is a brass pen. And there is a noticeable brass smell after handling this, and that might not be for everyone. I did give it a 5 in terms of shareability, but really it depends on what their use case is, and if it's similar to mine, and if they don't mind the brass smell, and they like, the pen and ink pairing where the ink seems to match the pen, I would give it higher marks, but because of the brass smell, it may not be for everyone. And then on personal enjoyment, I gave this one a 6. I'm glad it's in the lineup, but I'll be honest, I haven't been reaching for this pen as much as I think I probably would have. It's either because I've had it continually inked for the last few months, or maybe I'm just more interested in grabbing for other pens that are currently in the lineup this month. So overall for this pen, I've given it a B, And the composite score, all of these characteristics weighted equally, the composite score is a 6.2. The next pen we are looking at is the Pilot Custom 74, and I have this one inked with Robert Oster Deep Sea. This is in a medium nib, and it was ground to a journaler nib by Gina Salarino. And I have really been enjoying this pen. You can see overall I've given it an A- or a 6.6 composite rating. I don't always match my pen and inks, the colorways together, and I wouldn't say that these match necessarily, but I would say that they go. So I gave this a 7 for what I would expect to see coming out of this pen. I really do like the writing experience, but aesthetically, it's certainly not a super tight match. On the writing experience, I gave this a 5. It is a very pleasant writing experience, really, but it's more about the pen and nib than it is about the ink, if I'm being honest. So that's why this came in on the middle of the road. In terms of versatility and reliability, I gave this a 6. It is both versatile and reliable, but I wouldn't say it's a standout necessarily. It might be less about the pairing and more about the other pen and ink combinations that I have in the lineup this month. In terms of shareability, I gave it a 9. I think it's a very approachable combination, and I would definitely share this combo with others. It's easy to use and easy to recommend. And in terms of personal enjoyment, I gave this a 6. This is the pen and ink combo. It's really good, but it might only suffer really because of what else is in the lineup this month. But, overall, A- 6.6. Oh, this one, I feel really silly talking about this pen this way, but this one ended up with a C, which is unfortunate. This is the Sailor Pro Gear Quasar in a fine nib, and I have this inked with the cartridge Sailor Kasasagi. The overall rating this month was a C grade, and it came in with a 4.8 composite score. Now, I feel really weird talking about this pen and ink pairing this way. It is a beautiful pen, and the ink pairing is really nice. And the writing experience of Sailor nibs, I enjoy it. The Pro Gear nib in particular, it's really satisfying for me. But this was my least favorite pairing this month, as you can see from the rating. So from an aesthetics perspective, I gave this an 8. Yes, I expect and enjoy seeing this really nice color coming out of this pen. In terms of the writing experience, I gave this a 2. Now let me explain that. This fine nib is really, and a Japanese fine at that, is really great for getting into the smaller grids of some of the journals and planners that I'm using. But, that's never been the highest priority for me. And also because this month I'm not writing as much in my work planner where I need something that's going to dry quickly and get into the smaller grids. Just for this month, the writing experience is a 2. It is not what I needed really this month. I gave this a 5 for versatility and reliability. If someone would ask me my opinion of this pairing, I would say, yeah, it's versatile, it's reliable, and I would give it a good rating. I would give it a 5, but I wouldn't really gush about it. Certainly it would really depend on their use case. If they were writing more in planners or journals and those had a smaller grid, then absolutely. But if you're doing long form writing and it's more about the ink on the paper and the overall gushiness of the nib, I would say it doesn't do that. And then overall personal enjoyment for this month, I gave it a 4. It's definitely the lowest scoring pen and ink pairing, and I really think, it just, for this particular month, it just wasn't really a vibe. And I have, let's see, I don't have a ton left in this fill, and I will be completing this fill, this cartridge, and I won't be re-inking it. And the final pen we want to talk about is one that is added new this month. This is my TWSBI Diamond 580 in the Iris colorway, and this has a medium nib, and I have this inked with Colorverse Shiny Black. I added this pen and ink pairing to write out some holiday cards. I was sending out some gifts, and some of the other pen and ink combos that I had that I thought I was going to be writing holiday cards with didn't turn out to be what I expected, mostly because of the stock on the cards that I was writing with, and some of the sheening properties weren't showing up the way that I had hoped, but shimmer didn't fail me, so I added it, like I said, for some holiday cards and some happy mail, and it's been a lot of fun. I gave this a 5 overall for aesthetics. It was less about the pen and ink matching experience. It was a medium nib that I had that was currently uninked. It was more practical in nature. The writing experience, I gave an 8. The general aesthetics were less important than the writing experience. But I'll tell you, I gave it an 8. Because the outcome is great, but the experience has been a little bit challenging. I've had to floss the tines maybe 3 times in about 5 days. So maybe I am wishing that I don't have a full fill of this, but I can see myself doing some long form journaling and getting through this fill in relatively short order. You will probably see this again in January, because I'm not one to... I don't like to waste a pen and ink fill, but yeah, I wish I probably hadn't filled this so much. In terms of versatility and reliability, I gave this a 3. It makes it a little less reliable that I've had to floss it so much, and also, glitter isn't for everybody every day. I gave this a 9 in terms of shareability, though, even though I don't think that glitter is for everybody every day. If you like glitter experience and you're not concerned about putting it in a pen, especially a pen that you can take apart pretty well and clean out, if you like that experience, Shiny Black has been so much fun. It's definitely something. Shiny Black has been so much fun. I would definitely share it. I gave it a 9. I talk about this ink a lot, so it's definitely something I would continually share with others. But in terms of personal enjoyment, I gave it an overall 7, because I am, dreading a little bit having to continually floss the tines as I work through the full reservoir. So this is an overall score of a B with a rating of 6.4. So again, here's the overall rating for each pen and ink combo all on the same page. Let's take a look at this radar chart. As you can see, I've got all 5 categories that I've been measuring my pen and ink pairings against. Starting at the top with aesthetics, I have the highest marks coming in at a 10 and the lowest marks coming in at a 5. On the writing experience, the highest marks at a 9 and the lowest mark is a 2. For versatility and reliability, the highest mark came in at an 8 and the lowest marks came in at a 3. For shareability, it's a high of 9 and a low of 5. And for personal enjoyment, I have a high of 10 and a low of 4. Now, if you look at the radar chart, you'll notice that most of the higher scores are coming in across aesthetics, personal enjoyment, and shareability, which essentially tells me that I've enjoyed the look and feel of my pen and ink pairings, and I've just personally enjoyed them for my use case, and I've enjoyed them enough to want to share them with others. You'll notice that writing experience was dragged down by the Sailor Pro Gear Quasar with the Sailor Kasasagi ink. I know that pairing just really wasn't my favorite for this period, and that's really what's drawing that number down. And on versatility and reliability, the lowest score of a 3 was for the TWSBI Diamond 580 that is loaded up with Colorverse Shiny Black. And again, that's really just because I wasn't super looking forward to, or I'm not super looking forward to flossing those tines if the shimmer gets stuck. Is it super reliable? Probably not so much. So yeah, let me actually give you some averages. Aesthetics, the average is 7.9. Writing experience, average of 6.3. Versatility, average of 6. Shareability, average of 7.3. And personal enjoyment, average of 7.1. So again, aesthetics, shareability, and personal enjoyment were the ones really leading the charge this month. Thank you so much for stopping by the video and hopefully you found... Hi, sweet boy. So thank you for stopping by this video today. Hopefully this was a little bit of a different but also interesting look at how I'm measuring my pen and ink experience this month. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.